You ready for the video?
I'm ready.
Let's get it. Cool.
So this is where I'm excited to explore more of his stuff further, so I would have known that.
Present practice. What is vibing? This is Vish and
Jesi.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
resisting change is resisting life.
Today I'm here with Jesi. Want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Jesi, and I am a life design coach. And so essentially what that means is that I help people take control of their life and just tap into what's possible by just really handling the chaotic times that transitions and life can bring, and help them just make sense of that and bring purpose into their everyday through tools that they already have within that I just kind of help them, really bring out.
Awesome. And check out her stuff, which will be down below.
Yeah.
Sadhguru is a yogi, mystic, and visionary who's truly helping to enlighten the world. And with that,
let's get into it.
Why is change in life so difficult? When I was younger, I was excited by change. I looked forward to it, I was happy when it happened. As I'm growing older, I try to avoid it as much as possible. I'm not able to cope when it happens.
It all depends who is initiating the change.
Maybe, but is there something like an appropriate response to change?
One reason why change is becoming difficult as you get older is you have found cocoons of comfort. There are many comfort zones you created. Any disturbance of that, you're disturbed now. When you were young, you were not looking for comfort, you were looking for life. Now you're not looking for life, you're looking for comfort, safety. See, when you were 16, 18, you had wild dreams as to what you want to do with your life. By the time you became 25, you cut down all the frills and thought, this is all not practical, I am becoming practical now. All that happened is you were becoming a coward, but you said, I am becoming practical, and cut down many things and said, if I get a job, if I earn my living, this is okay. By the time you're 35, you're thinking, if I don't get into any trouble, that's enough. You're not looking forward to anything great happening. If I don't get into trouble, that's enough. But that's when you start getting into trouble. So, you're not looking at life with zest, you're looking at life as safety. The more security-oriented you are, the more disturbed you will be with every change that happens in your life. The essence of physical existence is change, isn't it? Isn't it so? Everything is changing. Is there anything that's not changing? Everything in the existence is changing, isn't it? The physical existence is constantly changing. The very essence of physical reality is change. Nothing is constant. Even the so-called static states are dynamic in nature, everything is changing. So if you resist change, you're resisting life. If you want…
So Jesi, so far, what do you think of the video?
Yeah, it's spot on. It's spot on, and I think it's a huge reason in why I even do what I do.
Okay.
It's because I think he's right. You hit a certain point in your life and you feel like I'm living how the world wants me to live, but have I ever checked in with myself and what feels fulfilling for me?
Yes.
And when you realize that there's actually those two things aren't lining up, it creates all this conflict, and then we fight that internally for so long, and we push, and then we tell ourselves that change is bad. And so everything he's saying, I just really resonate with that.
Awesome, well, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I agree with you. It's really just as simple as he said, which is the idea that if you resist change, you resist life. Because life itself is change.
Yeah.
I would say it's interesting to note that nothing is constant, but actually I think it was something along the lines of how everything changes and that the only thing constant in life is change itself.
Yeah.
Which sounds very hypocritical, but I think that's how it is.
Oh, I agree completely.
Want an unchanging life, There's one beautiful place where nothing changes, that's your grave. Either you must go to your grave or you must get enlightened if you don't want change. Then somewhere inside everything is same. But otherwise, as long as you're a part of the physical process of the existence, everything is changed, there is nothing that is not changing. See, this moment you're inhaling, next moment you're exhaling, it's change, isn't it? If you don't want change, you stop it. So when you resist change, you must understand you're resisting the very process of life, not just your life, you're resisting the very fundamental process of life. Invariably, you will invite all kinds of suffering. If you're living and you want to be dead, you will ask for trouble, isn't it? You must be living. When you're living, you must live totally. If you want to die, you must do that efficiently. These are inefficient ways of killing yourself, really. Unhappiness and depression are inefficient ways of killing yourself, isn't it so? At least be efficient. I can give you 10 different ways to die. Anyway, Hussain Sagar is there. Is it still water in it? Okay. So, you need to understand this. Once you resist change, you're resisting the whole process of life and you will create unnecessary suffering. So once you resist change, depression is a natural process. Frustration, when change happens, frustration, depression. Frustration and depression are… on a certain day, the devil decided to retire. Because he is retiring, he decided to put all the tools of his trade for a garage sale. So he opened up discount sale, all the devil's tools. There's a huge rush. There are all kinds of things, anger, hatred, jealousy, this one, that one, everything on the table. All of you people went and bought it up in no time. Everything was sold out in the first hour, all his tools. The whole humanity has bought it, isn't it? But he had still one more bag and what's your name? Leena? Leena went and asked the devil, "What's in that bag? Isn't that for sale?" He said, "No, these are the prize tools. Just as souvenirs, I want to keep them because they have worked best to do my job." Leena said, "No, I want it, please. Won't you sell that?" Devil said, No, these two tools that I have in this bag, they have worked so wonderfully well in my whole career that I would like to keep them as my souvenirs." Once Leena said, many other people joined behind her and, "Please, put it on sale, put it on sale, put it on sale." Then the devil pulled out and said, "Okay, if you're giving a good price, let me put it on sale." Then it pulled out frustration and depression and put it on table. These two are the best of the devil's tools. If you want to destroy your life, frustration, you start with frustration, develop into depression. You're there. There's nothing worse than that. You'll work against yourself. And the moment you resist change, frustration is natural. Once frustration comes, it'll naturally evolve into depression. So, you put it on sale.
So Jesi, what'd you think of that video?
Yeah, he has such a great way of bringing humor and light to such really intense topics. I really enjoyed just how he just made you feel, you're not powerless to the emotions like frustration and depression and anger that show up that can really bring us down and take us to a really tough place.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Jesi. I very much relate with you on that. And I'm curious, before we even go any further, have you heard of Sadhguru before yourself?
Briefly.
Okay. What do you know about it?
Not much. I just know that he is he's a spiritual leader, and
Yeah.
he's obviously a guru,
Yeah.
and he's sought after for his wisdom, of course. And for me personally, the reason that I enjoyed watching any of the videos of his that I did was because he has that sense of humor. And he takes the tough stuff and brings light to it, and brings it back to yourself. So that's why I liked him, but yeah, I'm just learning about him.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. And I actually very much love what you said as well just now, which is bringing light as well as humor to whatever you do, because we tend to take things so seriously. And have you ever gotten in Alan Watts?
Yes.
Yeah, he says this really beautiful yet powerful line, which is something on the lines of how, I'm paraphrasing here, but how for what God has created for fun, man is taken seriously.
Yeah, I believe that we take life so seriously when life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yes.
It is meant to be here for us to grow and learn and become the best version of ourselves. And I think we have this idea of perfection. We're always searching for something, trying to become, the best possible version of ourselves, and that's so pressuring.
Mm-hmm.
But when we can take down that wall and say, I don't have to be perfect, that's not a requirement to be, just being is enough,
Yes.
then we can relax. And I love that he brings you to that place.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Thank you for again sharing that as well. And it just goes back and connects to the whole idea of how change is so necessary, right? And it's important to almost like not even force the change, but just go with the flow of life, right?
Yeah.
So you go with the flow of life, you will naturally change. But what's more important and beautiful in the process is that you will evolve with that, and you will grow. And so change is honestly inevitable, and we should definitely, I think, just go with the flow. And was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, it was funny to me how he was saying, well, if you want change to stop, you're gonna die. But then it just makes me think, well, maybe that's not true. Maybe when you die, like more stuff happens. We don't know the truth.
Exactly.
So you just have to just release the fear.
Yes.
Expect the change, embrace it, and when you do, life starts to flow really beautifully.
Yeah.
And you realize you are not in control anyways. So
That's it. And as I've learned, honestly, the best things that happen to you are the ones that are unexpected.
yeah.
And so, also a quick note on what you mentioned. With Sadhguru's videos, he tends to, at certain times, say certain things just to make it more of emphasizing his points. So he doesn't always literally mean what he says. So, for example, when he was talking about how there's no change after you die, there's actually a whole book on that. It's called Death. And so there's actually a lot of change that he talks about. But he just made a comment out of getting his point across.
So this is where I'm excited to explore more of his stuff
Yeah.
further. So I would have known that.
Yeah, so we'll definitely watch more videos.
Yes.
And thank you so much for being here and taking this time. And don't forget to check out Jesi and all of her cool programs as well as social medias, which will be down below. And with that, make it a great day. Take it joyfully. If you have any other video requests, you can also comment that down below. And stay conscious. Awesome job.